Hello, Internet, and welcome to Thesis Statement, the show where your favorite storytelling bartender waxes philosophical in ways my father would undoubtedly wish that I didn't.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Sorry, Dad, but the interwebs need me. I must answer the call. Today we will be discussing possibly the most well-known comic book villain of all time, the Joker. The Joker, as almost everyone knows, is a staple of Batman's rogues gallery in DC Comics. Created by Bill Finger and Bob Kane, he first appeared on the page on April 25th, 1940. In the 80-plus years since his inaugural appearance, he has developed a rather cult following, with some of his fans actually not being comic book fans or Batman fans. He is mischievous, devious, quirky, unpredictable, and swings from pure, unadulterated evil to wacky, petty criminal in his depictions. But what is it exactly that draws us to him across this wide range? And what is it that makes him so different and distinguishable from the rest of Batman's villains? Ah, yes. In typical pretentious masochistic fashion, I have posed a question that may, in fact, be unanswerable. This is not a tease. I'm only half a page into this script, and I truly have no idea where this is going to take me. I have a vague plan to pull all my research together, pick a hill to die on, and then just figure the rest out in post.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live! Fuck it!
Things I do for you people, I swear. So, the logical first step in untying this Gordian knot is to take a look under the proverbial red hood and find out what makes the Joker the Joker. His initial portrayals were rather dark. He was written as a genius villain with a twisted sense of humor. He would often kill for the fun of it, and reveled in devising plots and schemes just to see if Batman could figure them out in time. Even at this early stage in Batman's character development, he was touted as the greatest detective, and Joker was quickly molded into the perfect foil for the Caped Crusader. Where Batman was calm, quiet, and precise, Joker was crazy, rambunctious, seemingly random. Batman was the detective, and Joker was the ultimate enigma. Not only were his schemes difficult to outwit, but the Joker himself was an impossible riddle. Joker's mental health and lack of mental stability, juxtaposed against his nearly superhuman ability to pull himself together and think on a level high enough to rival Batman himself, made for a curious dynamic. Batman wanted to help Joker, and to get him the help and care he needed, but at the same time, he couldn't ignore the cold cruelty with which Joker committed his crimes. When I say Joker is an enigma, I mean it, and perhaps we should consider this as a reason for his popularity. Joker is a whole mess of emotions and attributes. He's witty and zany, while still being cold and cruel. He's crazy, and yet composed enough to be a worthy adversary for Bruce Wayne, and, at times, the entire Justice League. Joker is the extreme embodiment of the things many of us feel. There are times when we feel less like people, and more like amalgamations of emotions and personality traits wrapped up inside meat suits. And, in a real way, many of us can probably identify with the elements of mental health in Joker's character as well. Many of us, for many reasons that would be a deep dive all their own, feel as if those around us only see us as crazy, like they only know us as the Joker, and what little help we have access to is far from sufficient. We perhaps identify with his plight, albeit in a sympathetic way, rather than being inspired to become supercriminals and fight billionaire vigilantes on a regular basis. While I'm certain that this plays a part in his popularity, I'm unconvinced that this is the full reason for Joker's longevity. Further up and further in, I suppose. Giggity. Joker never seems to have a shortage of henchmen willing to go toe-to-toe with the Bat, so he must be one hell of a charismatic dude. I mean, to inspire the kind of loyalty for an everyday criminal to face certain hospitalization just for their boss is kind of a big deal. Or maybe he just offers great pay and impeccable benefits. I mean, if you think about it, he almost has to. These guys must have at least 4 broken bones a month and, all new teeth. Go Joker for offering dental. Bet Penguin and Scarecrow don't do that. So what kind of a guy can inspire that many people to put their lives on the line like that? Well, we know he's funny. They don't call him the Joker ironically. And for as diabolical as he is, the guy can crack a joke. If we look at Jack Nicholson's Joker from the 1989 Batman film, he uses his zany, dark humor to disarm those with which he interacts. He tells jokes and pulls gags to lighten the mood while he tries to woo Vicky Vale. He drops a few one-liners with the Bat himself during his "We aren't so different, you and I" speech. And even outside that, he tries to be funny with his team. Like, when they're vandalizing the museum, he encourages the guys to have fun with it, and even has a blast himself. When they're driving through Gotham, he's blasting Prince and talking out Joker bucks with his goofy-ass face printed on him the whole time. The guy knows how to have fun, and when you watch his scenes, it's easy to be lulled into thinking he would be a fun guy to hang out with. However, and this is a red flag heavy however, his disarming nature does have a very dark side. I think we all know I'm not talking about how he would kill his own henchmen in random fits of rage. No, I think it's time we discussed Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is the Joker's girlfriend in the most unfortunately romanticized toxic relationship in pop culture history. Harley was originally a psychologist or psychiatrist, I can't remember which, and she worked with Joker during his time at Arkham Asylum. Arkham Asylum, BT dubs, is a sweet call out to Lovecraft and his mind-melting fears and shit like the Mountains of Madness. So, good on you, DC, for knowing your source. Anyway, in her time with the Joker, he's vulnerable with Harley, real with her, he's open with her. He opens up about his feelings and his thoughts, and he asks her about her life. He develops a bond with her so strong that she actually falls in love with him. And this love drives her to madness. She abandons her profession, and even her identity, of Harleen Quinzel, and takes on this mantle of Harley Quinn. She takes on an identity to match that of the Joker, a clown, crazy criminal. She follows him into this darkness, and once she's there, it's superbly difficult for her to escape. Sometimes she doesn't want to get away, and she convinces herself that he loves her despite his actions, and other times he makes it so dangerous for her that she has no choice but to stay, regardless of her wishes. He gaslights her. He physically abuses her. He even shoots her once. He mentally abuses her, verbally abuses her. He's dismissive, short, cruel. He's the goddamn worst. So many people see depictions of his loving side, quote unquote, and don't realize that it's simply the bait in the trap. Harley and Joker's relationship is touted as relationship goals or admirable. These people see the image of the two of them dancing and they say, look, they're both damaged and broken and they love each other. There's hope for us damaged people. Yeah, there is hope for the beaten and broken, but it's imperative that we remember he's the one who damaged her in the first place. He's the reason she's a shadow of what she was and could be. He is the struggle, the pain, and the baggage that she must spend the rest of her days getting over and recovering from. He's the addiction that she has to break, not this other broken person who can help her put herself back together. The comic book world has shown this, and in the recent Birds of Prey film, it's addressed with finesse as well, but the message bears repeating. Joker and Harley's relationship is nothing to be inspired by. He uses his charm to rope her in, and then spent 20 years ripping that poor woman to shreds simply because he could. She deserves better. You deserve better. I think we all deserve better. Make it a little real. So, that said, clearly, it is and is not his charm that makes him so likable and palatable to the public. Yet again, it's not the whole story, is it? Well, I guess, just like Harley, we need to emancipate ourselves from Joker's charming wiles and find our next possible solution. So, Joker's charm, his jokes, and his relatability are out. What's next on the list? Well, I'm glad you asked, silent internet voice that drives me to write about comic book psychology at 1 in the morning. Let's talk about the real meat of the issue. He's cool. Yep, that's it. Video's over. What? It's the truth. I mean, sure, Joker sticks out to certain people for different reasons. Some like the charm, some like how he's funny and dark, somehow he can stand in for so many mental health issues, be the centerpiece of thought pieces like this one. But the fact of the matter is, Joker stands out because he's cool. Doesn't go out of style. His color scheme is always eye-catching, with that white face, the super red lips, the wacky colorful suits. It all makes him pleasing and engaging to the eye. When he's in a lineup, his appearance causes you to pause on him for a while. He's appetizing. And he's always got such great dialogue, too. From comics to films to cartoons, he's written with fantastic speech. And the actors who portray him always deliver in such spectacular ways. I mean, think about it. Mark Hamill made that laugh memorable for 2 whole generations of Batman fans. There are people who know Mark Hamill as the Joker and not as Luke Skywalker, and that says something. Heath Ledger. He delivered the performance of a lifetime in an otherwise profoundly okay film. Jack Nicholson, the ever-loving shit out of the Joker in every scene he was in 1989. And, love him or hate him, you gotta admit that Jared Leto's Joker had style, and he made one hell of an impression. None of you forgot him, clearly. You're still railing and ranting about him on the internet, 4 years later? Anyway. Joker's schemes seem to be somehow more exciting than everyone else's, too. And they always end so bombastically. Just like his appearance, and his portrayal, and his dialogue, his schemes are memorable. Everything he does, and everything he is just so damn flashy. He gives off major, here for a good time, not for a long time vibes. So, while all those other things do make him endearing in strange ways, the fact of the matter is Joker is just that cool. He gets sort of reinvented or redesigned every decade or two, but ultimately he remains the same. He's like a Corvette. Sure, new model might have a few new features or have some retro throwback element or even in rare occasions bring something totally new to the table. But at the end of the day, every one of those iterations is cool in its own right. The older model might be popular with diehard fans, or maybe there's a 90s model that stirs nostalgia for your younger years. And the brand new model definitely sparkles in the moonlight, so that catches your eye. But when you boil it down, we're all enamored with the same thing. Joker's just a cool character. He looks cool, he acts cool, says cool stuff. And the questions raised by his very existence are cool to think about. At the end of the day, cool wins out. Joker lasts because he just has that timeless, suave quality. If you don't believe me, let me tell you a quick story. The Joker was originally intended to be a one-off character. His story was in one issue of the Batman comic, and he was supposed to die at the end. Also, Batman used to kill people, like a lot, sometimes with a gun. So a lot's changed there. But anyway, so Joker was supposed to be the monster of the week, and Batman was supposed to kill him at the end. However, when up-top execs from Detective Comics saw the storyboards and saw his design, they kind of pulled rank and decided Joker was just too cool to let go of that quickly. They asked that he survive the story and that there be more stories where he featured, and eventually he was upgraded to Batman's sole nemesis. I mean, not bad for a guy who was originally hired on for a temp job. Climbed the ranks all the way to arch nemesis. All you goons and henchmen out there, take notice. You too can reach your dreams if DC thinks you're cool enough. But with that, now that I've derailed the train and nearly taken out the orphanage, that brings us to the part of the episode where I'm supposed to tell you that if you liked this video, make sure you like, rate, subscribe, and comment, so you can be the first to see all our new stuff on release. I'm also supposed to tell you that if you liked this, you're probably going to love our podcast, The Price is Right. There, you'll find shows like Cocktail Cinema, where me and my friends serve up an adult beverage and talk about movies. I'm supposed to say here that if you can support us, head over to The Price is Right on Patreon and pledge your money and undying allegiance to our cause so you can get sweet early access to all our projects, exclusive content, interact with the team directly, and some sweet, sweet merch. I'm told I'm supposed to tell you that we have a Teespring store as well, and if you look through The Price is Right's online store, you'll find all sorts of super exclusive merch, even more exclusive than the stuff you'll find on Patreon, but I'm not going to do that. I'm a rebel. I'm not even going to say goodbye.